understand that since centuries, the environment and the it has been created in a way that there's been so much of hostility due to the male oriented setup in Pakistan, and it is not only just in Pakistan but it is global as well. So I believe that women, if given a chance, they can contribute more positively towards the development of the country economy wise. So you can say that more than 50% of the population are women, and those women are not working, they are not in mainstream, and there's very minimal contribution towards the economy of Pakistan.
All right, Hamna,
Now,
just one thing though. So sorry, I'm cutting you in between. I know you may not like me asking this question, but this is how I really feel about it. I've been literally told by people not to talk about it or not to think that way. But here's the thing: yes, constitution is for everyone. There are like a lot of rights that, Pakistani women do have. But why do those rights have male gatekeepers? I mean, do you know what I mean? The rights do not get to women. They cannot even exercise them because there are male gatekeepers. Or why are there loopholes created by male lawmakers of the country? Do you know what I mean?
I don't think so.
yes,
Yeah,
so
okay,
like I just
let's
Well,
see.
Amber
said,
agrees with me, I want to say. Okay, partially. Carry on, Hamna.
so, like I said, that the society in general is very male oriented and male dominating. And when we talk about laws and the constitutional rights of women, which actually exist in Pakistan, there are many. So I would just, if I start talking, it would probably take hours and hours. But I will just quote you a couple of very important laws and articles in the constitution of Pakistan that every person should know about. ठीक है? So Article 25, which says that all citizens are equal before the law and entitled to equal protection of law, and that there shall be no discrimination on the basis of sex alone. So when the law or the constitution itself does not discriminate you, then why the society? So you're coming back to your question. I think it's about it's the society, the mindset. It's been from centuries. So there are laws, but the implementation itself has been a bit shaky. Then if I go on and move on, talk about other constitutional rights for women. So there are under Article 32 and 34
We
of
will, we will,
Constitution.
we will definitely talk about the other rights mentioned within the Constitution. But right now, I think I'm not going to try to school you, but this is something which comes from within, and it is a thought process which I just went through when Shiza asked you this question. See, we have seen in Pakistan that that a lady doctor has actually been posted to the rank of a lieutenant general, and I
Mashallah.
think that it was great. We have seen that women are actually flying jet aircrafts over here in Pakistan. We have seen that that military have made sure that they're actually going to have an inclusive environment, and they're going to be women in it as well. We have made sure that there are going to be people within the lawmaker system as well, and that there's going to be equal representation. That when or probably when we speak about all of this, I think that it is a personal choice to probably be a gatekeeper for something or not. But then at the same time, okay, if we want to do it this way, why do we have reserved seats for women in National Assembly? Why don't they come out and say it in the open that okay, from today onwards we are actually going to contest in an election rather than being selected or opted on reserved seats. So then let's
I'm
just play it very fairly. Or probably, why do you think that I have to stand for a lady when a lady needs to sit in a bus? Why do I have to open a door for a lady when the lady can do it herself?
But here's the thing.
So let's talk about this.
I'm with you on the voting part, but other
Yeah.
than that, that's chivalry, which apparently is dead. But
Well,
yes,
it's
carry on,
not really
Hamna.
chivalry. If you want this equal rights, why cannot we get the equal rights? And
I'm with you.
why are we labeled as being? I think let's just speak about it in the first place.
Right.
Is what you just said right now is that these are two different things. So one is being, you have manners. So mannerism or chivalry, and the other are equality. So I'm not saying that women and men women should be better than men, or men should be better than women. I'm just saying that
Exactly.
they should be equal. So there should be
Thank you.
equality as far as opening the door, standing for a woman. These things actually, if you compare West world and developing countries, these things are happening more in the in countries like Pakistan,
Yeah.
because we respect women, and which is a very
Yeah.
good thing. Our country, our religion, and we really respect women.
But
When we
this is
talk
this.
about
Thank you very
yes,
much for saying that. And this is the only question: if men can respect women, why cannot women respect men?
Okay, Hamna, please hold on to that thought as well. I'm going to take actually Amber's views on this, but I really did not mean to
And we do
generalize.
not want
I
to be
still,
scapegoats
yeah,
over here.
yeah.
It is just for the sake of an argument. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Verbal disclaimer.
Absolutely. Now, here's the thing, Shazad, and for all the people who might be thinking the way Shazad is right now, I want to clear it. I do not mean to generalize. The only reason I say that, I do realize, and I am with you, I'm totally with you when I say everyone should have equal rights in, running an election and
Exactly.
whatnot. But I'm saying that because in my village, when there are elections, a wife who is not allowed to step outside her home, she wants to vote, but she's beaten till she cannot move because she's not allowed to move out of the house and go to vote. That is what I'm talking about right
Yeah.
now.
That's
Of
unfair.
course, that is
But
100%
that's
unfair.
domestic violence, no?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There are gatekeepers to the rights that women already have. Amber, what do you have to say about this?
Actually, I am an advocate of male as well, because I think I do acknowledge the role of men in my society, because the respect I get as a woman in my society is something which should be appreciated.
Of course.
Like as Shazad was mentioning, a man leaves a chair for you, and ladies first is our culture's tagline. So yes, I do acknowledge this fact. Apart from those extremes,
And even then they say, you know how boys are. We
That's a
really
general
like.
term.
but
Yeah.
yes, it's a fact. Apart from those extreme cases like domestic violence and harassments, yes, it happens.
Yeah.
But there are good things in my society which I should appreciate.
Of
Wow.
course, of course.
And that's wonderfully said as well. So moving back to Hamna now. So Hamna, for all of those rights, all of those fundamental rights which we have according to the Constitution of Pakistan, how do we make sure that everybody has access to those rights?
Number one, the most important thing that we must all be aware and we must know the law. So lawyers, and not just lawyers, should be aware of the law. What actual law is? Law is for the general masses. It's for the people. So we should create awareness. Number one, and number two, we should. I think this is very important that we should educate the mindset of our men, men and women. So I wouldn't say specifically for men, but it's the mindset of the society. And as I said, it's been happening since centuries. Now, the the laws is there, implementation is not really there, because I'll give you examples, like for example, inheritance rights. When we talk about that, and according to the law and the Sharia, woman has every right of share of her husband and the
Exactly.
brother. But why she's so reluctant? She gives up a right of share, she gives up a right of property, because she's being emotionally and socially pressurized, sort of, up, you can say that blackmail as well. Okay, give up your right, because look, I'm your brother, and I should be the custodian of the property. So there is a lot of reluctance. And let me tell you this thing, that there are laws which actually penalize the people who do not give the right to women. So, for example, inheritance rights, there is 10 years of imprisonment. If, for example, your brother does not give you the property and holds it back, and he keeps it himself. So that's one of the rights. When we talk about, for example, this is happening a lot these days, cyber harassment. So there is a law which exists, and I don't know if a lot of people know about it or not. It's called Prevention of Electronic Crime Act 2016, which has actually rights for women who are being harassed, for both men and women. But because women are reluctant, and there have been a lot of cases that they do commit suicide when there is a lot of blackmailing and leaking of explicit images, threats, unwanted contact or stalking. So Pakistani women, unfortunately, they're so scared to actually come out and tell, the complain, or tell their family, or file a report. So these are one of the reasons. And I think awareness, when you talk about awareness, let me just tell you one thing, that Electronic Crime Act during this whole quarantine and COVID period, it has increased so much, and there is one of the NGOs which has been working on this, DRF, Digital Right Foundation, and they have actually set up a cyber harassment helpline. And you can dial, and the victims can file for online harassment and violence, through which they are getting counseling, legal advice, and security as well. So
which is
there are avenues, and then you can also, if you are being harassed electronically, like through Facebook, through social media,
Yeah,
any kind, so
we know that for
file.
sure, and thank you very much for raising that point as well. But very quickly, before we run out of time, there's one more thing, and I think that it's not rocket science. And I'm going to say it for all of those ladies who are out there and who are listening to me right now. Please make sure that you actually share it with other people who might not have heard a program of such sort on television, because I think that no channel right now is actually working towards making sure that people know about their rights as well. So what I'm going to say is that just because of the fact that we as men over in Pakistan, go out on daily basis, are in conversation with so many people, or probably are dealing with property issues, or are dealing with other issues at the same time. So imagine that we see so many people and we are exposed to so much information on daily basis that we get that edge over women at times. So I think that it's not rocket science. I use this because of the fact that every lady has the right to go out. We know Hazrat Khatija actually used to have her own businesses.
She was a
That
trade
does
woman,
not
yeah.
that does not mean that she was not in conversation with other men. But there is a decorum of how to actually have that conversation with men who are actually not your brothers or husbands or father. So I think that this is the only thing which is actually pulling us back. Other than that, I think that we're going in the right direction. The direction to me looks very promising. I have a co-host, a wonderful co-host. She's even married now, alhamdulillah, and she makes sure that she's at work and that nothing is actually disturbing her work routine, which I think is a great direction. Today we have an advocate high court, telling us a little about our constitutional rights. Not just that, we have Ambar Usmani over here, who actually happens to be a leadership motivational speaker as well. So things are changing, and I think what we need to do is that we need to put in the effort, which needs to come from us now. I think everything is out there. The constitution is not discriminatory at all for men or women, and I think everybody just needs to know their rights and go in the right direction.
Right, absolutely. So, Hamna, what do you say about this? This has to be a closing note. So, is there any message you want to give out as well? Very quickly.
Quickly.
Okay, so I agree with you, and I think women should not, please, women, all the women out there, do not be scared. You know your rights. Be aware and come out. If there is a problem, go file complaint. Do not be scared. And also for all the families out there and who are raising their daughters, young daughters, they should really educate their kids. So mindset. If we change the mindset, we change the society, we change the country as a whole. So I think that's it.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.